Hello YouTube, this is Jesse from STEM Welcome to another tutorial. This tutorial we're going to continue where we left off in the last tutorial. As you remember in the last tutorial, I introduced you the graphical user interface that we were able to build using FLTK and using Rust. And just to remind you, we are able to work with all the interfaces that are available. Whatever your network is giving is going to populate this drop down. And here you will be able to add whatever protocol that you're using. In this case, I added this 4. I added address resolution protocol, the virtual local area network, point-to-point protocol, and tunneling. And just for proof of concept, let's just choose one that has some traffic, because if I choose one of this one might not have any traffic or it's gonna take forever. So that's why I'm choosing this one, because I know there's traffic on that one. And let's go with this one, and there it is. So it starts collecting right away. And as you can see, it's got the address resolution protocol, the request, the reply, and that's all of that good stuff. I'm going to show you how I was able to create this, and by the end of this tutorial you're going to have the code to make this graphical user interface and how to create your own version of Wireshark for your local computer. So that's what I'm going to show you. That's my intent anyway. So let's start by, I'm not going to talk about this code here for this little guy, because all of that programming logic that I have for this one is included in this one. So I rather just talk about the other one because it gets more into detail of all the good stuff of how to create the graphical user interface and all of that stuff. So let's just create that one, and just to give you an example, this guy, go from the very beginning. Okay, so what are we doing? Well, being that we need a graphical user interface, we're bringing everything that we need from FLTK. We're bringing, if you're not familiar with FLTK, I did a tutorial series not too long ago that you can go and watch it, where I go into detail of how to create a graphical user interface, how to add every button to the main, and all of that good stuff. So I'm not going to be spending so much time in this tutorial about the graphical user interface, but I'm going to talk a little bit about it. Basically, what I'm doing is bringing FLTK. I'm bringing app. It manages the application event loop. Buttons. It defines all the clickable buttons. In this case, we have all of these buttons that we're going to click. The font for the text. Prelude, that's just an easy way to bring everything that you need. It includes all the common FLTK traits and for all the UI components. Text buffer and text display, it's just to display the text logs, basically all the packet details. Window is the window, it represents the main application window. Choice menu, that's going to be the drop downs. So these drop downs right here will allow you the selection widget that is going to be basically used for the interface and protocol selection. So interface, protocol. That's how you do that choice. Useful tick theme is to give you that nice dark theme of FLTK. It looks beautiful, nice. I like the dark theme, and you can change it to whatever theme you can use. I'm using dark, but they have many other available, but that's what I'm doing here. From PNET, from the PNET library, I'm bringing all of this good stuff up to here. We bring in data link. Data link that's what makes possible to get a list of available network interfaces. the packet Ethernet. That's is going to allow me to bring the Ethernet frames. Uh, Basically, it represents an Ethernet frame. Look at it that way. Ethernet types. What are the types? Meaning it defines what the type constants are for the ARP, whether it's an ARP, whether it's a VLAN or virtual local area network, whether it's PPV or and so on. Same thing here for the ARP packet. It handles all the ARP packets. This one handles all the VLAN, VLAN packets or the virtual local area network packets. And this one here, packets, is just a trait for working with packets, for all packets, right? The ARC here is the atomic reference counting instead of RC. In the last tutorial, you saw me using RC all the time. In this case, we're using the atomic reference counting. It's basically very similar. It enables the multi-threaded share ownership of to be able to share stuff. Mutex, basic, these two work hand in hand. Uh, it's basically Mutex ensures the safe synchronized access to share data. So that's what's happening there. This one here is allows to give the timestamp, Unix epoch, the system time. And here, because we're going to be spawning threads, we need the thread from the standard library. Um, we're going to be, being that we're going to be capturing packets asynchronously. I can never say that word. Here basically is where we define the link layer protocol, and we have the ARP string for the packet details, for the ARP packet details, for the VLAN ID and details, for the point-to-point protocol details, for the tunneling details, and for the unknown. There's going to be a lot of unknown because you're going to see two unknown devices talking to each other. So it's going to be a lot of those. If you can see, sometimes, actually, let's just run it so we have something to talk about, right? Why not? We built it, we might as well run it. So this is, you're going to see all those unknowns. That's what I'm talking about. Because some of, I mean, you can change them, you can go deeper, but I didn't want to get into it and how to, this is just proof of concept, so I didn't want to overcomplicate matters. So let's stop it for now. And let's continue here. That's the struct that where it defines the link layer frame. And it has the timestamp to capture the time in seconds, the source MAC address, the destination MAC address, the protocol type. This stores a link layer protocol. So you can see this guy is this guy, and the size of the length, right? Here, this is where the parsing of the packets is going to take place. So it's going to be a 1 for a request, a 2 for a reply, or if it's not either one, it will go as an unknown. This is what's happening right here. Um, Basically, is extract this whole area right here is extracting MAC and IP addresses. Okay, this is what some of that magic is being done, and it returns a formatted string for each one. It's gonna have the sender hardware address, is gonna have the target hardware address, and the protocol use for ARP. And this one does the same thing for VLAN. For VLAN, it's going to be a little bit different because it's a different protocol, right? You're going to be getting the VLAN ID. You're going to get the PCP, which is also known as the priority code point, and the drop eligible indicator. That's depending on these numbers, it will give a priority code whether you can that packet can be dropped or not, or if you know VLAN, that's how it works. If you play with Arduinos, VLAN tagging and all all of that stuff is going on right here. Most of that stuff is normally under the hood you never hear about, but in this case, it's there, so I gotta talk about it. Here is just formatting the frame uh, to make it look pretty, so it's human readable and it looks good. So it's just matching the details with the details for each one. That's basically what is happening there, and that's making it nice and pretty for each one. Formatting it for all of them because it's written a certain way, as you can see. It has a particular format for the hex and all of that stuff. So that's what's happening here. And there we continue. This is the theme to make it look really pretty and look nice like this. This is Baltic, the color theme, applying the theme. This is the window. It's going to open, or it's at 1200 by 600. And that's what that is, 1200 by 600. Um, the interface is going to go into a vector because we're going to be putting basically, think of it, the easiest way to think about it is think of it as is adding, well, let's start from the beginning. Here is creating the choice, is this drop down right here, these drop downs, okay? And all of that stuff is going to be going into a vector that is going to have the interfaces for each one of them, right? So it's going to do two things. It's number one, it's going to ask whether it's up, or meaning is running. So you're just gonna see here is it up? And if it's up, it's gonna tell me yes, it's up. But I'm going to exclude loopbacks because loopback, if you ever done a little bit of networking, loopback we try to exclude it because it's got too much stuff, because it's going to include everything. So that's why we exclude it, and then it's going to collect. That's what's happening right there. Here is the same thing for the interfaces, and same thing for the names. This is the interfaces. These are the names, and now it's going to populate through a loop for all of the at the choice of the drop down. This one right there. Okay, that's what's happening. And it's going to set the value. First, the default value is going to be created, is going to be that one, whatever the first one is. So if I don't choose anything, for example, if I just, so you see what that means, if I stop it and then restart it again and put my password, if I don't do anything, it's set to that value. That's that first value on it. That's where that's coming from. Set value 0. Going down, the start button. This is very important because once you hit start, the callback, and I'll explaining a little bit because all of that magic happens there. But that's to create the button, to start button. It's this button right there. And here is the text display for all the stuff that you see there. Okay. We keep going. It's going to append with the formatted stuff for the header, for these headers right there. And it's going to keep doing it and keep doing it and end and show the window. Here is going to, for the buffer, this is going to be critical later when we do the callback. This is where this is all going to be cloned down in a little bit. I will show you where the cloning is going to take place for each one. This is the, for the choice, for the protocol, for the other drop down, this guy. And here starts the magic. So you can see this is a big one because all of that happens when you hit that start button. So you're going, this is the callback, this is the cloning that I just mentioned about. This is where it's taking place, and there's gonna be that one and then this one again here once it starts inside the closure. Here we're going to do this is the closure from here to there. And let's go into it because this is where the threads are being spawning. But before that, it's going to know whether it's running. If it's running, it's going to if it's not running, it's going to set the label to start. If it's running, the label is going to say stop. For example, right now it's not running, so you can see it says start. That's what it's saying. If it's not running, it says start. That's what that is. But the moment that I hit it, it's going to say stop. So once it starts running, now it's running, and it's running on API. There's not much traffic going on. That's why you don't see anything. But if you choose this one, it's going to be, let's just start it just to make sure. Now all of a sudden, it changed to stop because it's running. That's what's happening there. This is where that is taking place. That's the cloning that we just talked about, and now this is where the thread is being spawned. This is where all the magic happening because this is where the configuration that you chose to make, right? This is going to have whatever you chose, you decided to be. And you can change the attempts, you can change whether you want it on promiscuous mode or not. If you want to catch everything or you just want to catch just enough, you can change that. With the buffer size, you can, that's all within your control in the config. This is where you configure. This is the transmitting, transceiving, or transceiver, transmitting, receiving. The receiving is immutable because it's going to be changing, it needs to be modified, and it's going to match the interface with the configuration. And that's what's happening there. The config with the particular interface that you're dealing with. Okay. And where else? This is transmitting, receiving is going to give complaint if it's not what you expect. This is error handling. System time. This is where all the microseconds is or milliseconds or whatever you're using. Whatever in this case is just seconds. So this is where the Unis epoch time takes place. Now here is going to match depending on the receiving with the protocol. This is where all that config takes place because you're gonna, this is where the stuff that you parsed before for the packet, for the ARP, for the VLAN, this is where it's for the PPP, this is where all is basically being matched with the receiving. And that's how you see that this gets populated. And we continue down. Uh, these are your choices from that you're going to get. For example, there's a lot of 3425, so I had to do, as you can see, there's a lot of 3425. So I didn't know what they were, so I was playing around in debugging, and that's what that is. It's just one device, one Apple device talking to another Apple device. That's what that is, because I'm using a Mac, of course. And that's what's taking place there with the keep alives. Here it's just the whatever value that you design. This is where they are matched to, right? Where they are set. So it's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And if not, it's going to be the all link layer, which is this one, which is all. That's what that is. And now whether it should display the current time or all the system time, this is a loop. It's going to be going through all of that stuff, and then error handling, and then it runs until it gets stopped. Okay, and basically that's what that is, and that's what it does. And you can, I'm going to put this on my GitHub page, so you're gonna have it, so you can um, download it, clone it, and do whatever you want with it. But this is the end of this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, please click the like box, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time with another tutorial. Take care.